Seaworthy, fly-worthy, isn't it? Which means what? What does it mean? Seaworthy? What does it mean?
Able to go in the sea.
That's
or
right.
Able to be
Travel.
You're able to take off,
Yeah.
isn't it? To fly. You might have wings, but it might not be well together.
Or
You might have a hull,
flight, yeah.
but not be very well established so you can actually have enough keel, whatever
Yeah.
you require, or enough gas. What do you call it? Fuel. Okay, or not the right guy at the helm. So it's not, it's not worthy to go on a flight. It's not worthy to go on a travesty of the oceans, right? Travesty. So in the same way, this human being here has to be what? Worthy. For what? Knowledge worthy.
Now,
Yes.
is it worthy comes from rituals and meditation?
It prepares the mind.
Okay.
It prepares not only meditation and it's a life lived in line with that, because you can do meditation and all that and be a rakshasa.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Ravan.
Ah.
Ravan did. Yeah.
Hitler.
Yeah.
SS.
Yeah, thieves also must be brave.
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah.
I know guys that go like this. You know what it means? In the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, and the Holy Spirit, give me one fool so I can take advantage of him. Before the guy goes and rips somebody up, I'm gonna beat the guy up, okay? He's waiting in the dark, and before he does it, he goes and it doesn't mean anything. See the idea? Very important to recognize that. That's why dharma is necessary. Because look at what we ask for. Look at what we ask for when we pray, when we go to temples and cathedrals and all that stuff. What do we ask for? Give me this and give me that, isn't it?
Mhm.
All the time. Give.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And then we make a commercial we make like a commercial enterprise out of it. Look, I'll tell you what. I want this and this and that, okay? And I'll give you this and this and this and that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Isn't that what we pray for?
Yeah.
And then, let's suppose, for example, okay, I have a girlfriend. Let's just say that, okay?
Watch it.
And then, my girlfriend and I
We don't know.
are pretty close, okay? Then there's this guy with competition, Then he's looking at my girlfriend. And she's friendly with him too. And I go out and kill the guy. Get rid of him. Make sure he disappears. I'm not saying we don't ask for good things. My son is sick, please give him health and all that. My friend is sick, also give him health. We do that too. But then we also use it for that's the whole thing. I'm not making fun of religion. This is just what we normally ask for. This is the dual aspect of it, because that's all we know.
Do we know, as individual human beings, how do you become worthy by practice being?
Goodness.
Okay, dharmic.
Goodness.
Dharmic.
Dharmic.
Okay.
I don't
So
care
the
what you believe
rituals
in.
and the meditation does have dharmic way of doing it.
It could be dharmic, it could be non-dharmic.
Oh,
For example, look at this. Meditation brings about certain effects. Is that right? Now, first of all, a person that meditates, okay, learns to harness the mind. Right? Now, this mind now can be applied. And where is it going to be applied? In the world. How to influence people? It's a good opportunity, right there. In business, in power, in fame, in glory. Okay, let's suppose I'm a good fella. For my wife and I want to be able to have a nice household and be able to have enough education. It's good. Okay? But there's no pursuit of higher ends. So that's a problem. Nothing to do with it. The ocean's okay, doesn't matter. As long as I make
It's
enough
not my
money.
problem.
Yeah, as long as I make enough money, heck, whatever the ocean, what the heck. And the air, let me tell you, the wind comes and blows everything away anyway. Yeah, but it goes somewhere. Garbage, I'm talking about the garbage. All this stuff have no concern. There's poverty, there's injustice, okay? And we don't care. And if we care, yeah, I care. As a matter of fact, I give $5 every month and all that. I have a child, whatever. And with that, I have to have free from it. That's it. Yeah, but what's important has not been addressed. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't do things that are good, but also now use that leisure, address it to the higher. But we don't know about that. We don't know about that. We don't pursue that. The mind doesn't pursue that because for the mind is something very, esoteric, very profound. Profound meaning, when you say profound means not for me. People talk about profundity and what's too profound. Meaning what?
Nobody understands it.
Nobody understands it. Why should I understand it? We use the word profound in that respect.
Yeah.
Not for me. See, so, and why? It is not their fault, because they've not been unfolded what the whole thing is. And when the thing is unfolded properly, and intelligent people will see, hey, this is profound, yeah, but hey, this is what I want. Isn't it? That's the whole idea. So duality we need to work with, but then again, for the sake of the higher. How many people live for ideals? Most of them had to do with comfort. Is that right?
Yeah.
Look, just think of us, what ideals are there? Justice is one ideal. Equality is another ideal. Is that right? Live for the health of others, health. Not just for mine. It's okay, I'm going to be okay, but can I do something to improve the quality of life of somebody else? And so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. Maybe I cannot do it, but do I support that? Those who can do that. That's another way. As an ideal. And then check up on how's he going? Is there something else I can do? And so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. But, we're very, very, how do you call this?
Self-centered.
Individual. We don't consider ourselves part of all. So a life with ideals is no life. What do you get? What do you get your kicks? So we have some kicks that shallow, no problem. We have those. But is there something that is higher? Compassion, for example. You see somebody, how do you call it, being made fun of because of the ridiculousness of the person. But then there's a person behind it. How many people do we actually see the person behind that? And there's a human being like you that wants respect. And if a person acts against himself or herself in respect, without respect, that is something that it's like a person that is bleeding, inside. And where is the heart? Where is the recognition of being able to actually take into account that that person is suffering? So it might be funny, it might be ridiculous and all that stuff, but there's a human being back there. And that human being is just committing harakiri. Why? Because that person doesn't know better. Now, you might not be able to change the person, but at least to become sensitive about it. See the idea? So, an ideal will be to be able to see beyond the form and to be able to pick up what's behind the form. That's an ideal, and so on. And nobody can do it for us. We have to do it individually, each one by ourselves. God himself cannot enter into the picture. This is a choice of a human being. Now, if person says a sensitivity, it's amazing to have it. Now, if not only that, it can help others develop sensitivity. Not by command, not by criticism, but by actually showing the picture of the gain that there is in that. Then it becomes even more. And if the person cannot do it himself or herself, to be able to support something that does that, to elevate the human condition, to a place in which you don't need a lot of stimuli. You're stimulated naturally. Even though you can participate in general stimuli, but you don't need it. See, to be free from that. So those are ideals which are dharmic, like that. And that's what makes a person fit or worthy. It's called an adhikari. Adhikari?
Mm-hmm.
You see, look what I'm talking about. We're talking about viveka. I'm talking about Vairagya. Just using English words. I'm talking about those qualities of a human being. And if I don't have it, no problem. But to know that it can be developed in me. Why? I need it. Why should I need to be able to be compassionate to somebody else? Let me tell you, have you ever been compassionate to somebody? Now, how do you feel when somebody has compassion for you? And so on, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. See, we all have capital. How do we spend it? I'm not talking financial capital only. I'm talking capital. You can see, you can talk, you can walk, you can think, you can feel, you can sense, all this capital, all these resources. How are they channeled? We have knowledge, we have experience. How do we channel them? To live is not just to breathe and eat and sleep. See, those are things, that questions that have to come to my mind, and I need to somehow figure out a way that I can actually exercise them to the best of my ability. And I pray to God, Lord, lead me from the apparent to the real. Lead me from this blindness to see. And lead me from this condition of just wastefulness, which is death, to discover life. That's what Arjuna had. He was a compassionate fellow. He was a sharp fellow, very, very sharp, and he was good. He was dharma. Was his thing. Now, of course, he wasn't 100%. He wasn't pure in 100%, but he had his life. His brother was a great influence. The whole clan. Their purpose was dharma. Is that right? Purpose was dharma. Now they messed up, like anybody, but dharma was the standard, and they made efforts to be dharma.
Oh, that's why it's called Dharmaraya. That's why the elder son was called Dharmaraya.
Yeah, that's right.
The brother of
right.
Arjuna.
So identifying with the clan. What's the clan name?
Pandavas.
Pandavas. It's a good thing.
Now on the chip, when you are let me go back here.
Yeah.
I got to remember carefully. When you perform rituals and meditation with dharmic approach, dharma, that only comes from your birth rather than you don't get it from anywhere else.
Not from your birth.
No?
Meditation to dharma. You might have an orientation to dharma, and meditation you might use it for that, but you see, it is something that anybody can actually. But now, you look at this. Meditation can be done for dharma, but you see, they're still dual. It's still dual. Now, if you perform meditation or any kind of practice or any ritual, not for the sake of the dharma so much, but for the sake of moksha.
But dharma is part of the...
No, right. But you see here, artha, which is that securing something. Kama, enjoying something. Okay, dharma, righteousness, correctness. Now, most of us usually use this dharma in order to be able to enjoy something or to possess something. Listen, please. Okay, dharma is usually outward oriented. That's why it's called dual. You understand what I'm talking about? Now, a personal discernment, a person that is like Arjuna, or someone, Adharikari, someone fit, someone worthy for this knowledge, then he comes to realize that it is not this what I want, that inherent in these three pursuits, there's one pursuit which I'm missing. When I want to gain something, I want to be free from being without it. Okay, I'm talking security. When I want to gain security, I want to be free from insecurity. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. When I enjoy something, if I pursue enjoyment, it's because I want to be free from the displeasure or the uncomfortableness of not having it, or not doing it. So I want to be free. So there's freedom pursued here, and there's freedom pursued there. And when I do what? Good, dharma. Okay, is I want to be free from our dharma, which brings about papa, isn't it? And everything that comes along with it. Because even things that I gain by ill means will go away, isn't it? So I do dharma to preserve this. Correct? Mm-hmm. Dharma is done to pursue, to assure security and enjoyment, either here or in the hereafter. So now I listen to this thing here and I find out that what I want is freedom. Freedom from insecurity, freedom from discomfort, freedom from what? Feeling bad about myself and all that. Hey, I want me freedom, so actually what I want is freedom. So this is the dual path. Moksha is thought of as after you die. Is that right? Rest in peace. Right? Moksha. Now look, the person then turns his life around. And then he does what he really wants at the beginning. In the first place, he wants moksha. And he comes to say, wait a second, I want moksha. This thraldom, this samsara is something I don't want. And then the teaching comes and says, you want moksha? But it will not be by releasing yourself from anything. Keep on doing, no problem. But recognize the nature of karma. And recognize the nature of all karma. And you know what? You'll find out that this karma and that karma belong to a realm which is only apparent. Mithya. And there is something about you which is amazing, and this knowledge will make you free, as Jesus said also. So now seeks moksha in terms of self-knowledge. Now the person starts living life. Now it's more difficult because you're going against the current. You still want to secure. Okay, go ahead and secure, but always in terms of moksha, secure. Always in terms of moksha, enjoy. Always in terms for moksha, perform dharma. Be dharmic. In other words, everything is in terms of moksha. So, what is the rule? Before the rule is, do I like it or I don't like it? Is it comfortable or is it uncomfortable? Hell is uncomfortable, heaven is comfortable. Sweet is comfortable, bitter is uncomfortable. Work is uncomfortable, rest is comfortable. To take is comfortable, to give is uncomfortable. This is how we measure our life, isn't it? Yeah. When we're like that. Now, hey, listen, you're going to take? Let me see, what happens? Is that dharmic? At the level you're thinking about taking, it's not dharmic. And then what? So what? Well, for example, in moksha, I'm going to create a condition that will not allow me to gain the knowledge. Because I won't have the leisure, as I said at the beginning. Leisure meaning what? Freedom. Poder, so I can actually enjoy. So I need to then, if I'm going to take, let it be dharmic. So that my mind will be available for self-knowledge. I'm always preparing myself for self-knowledge. I enjoy enjoying the situations in the world, no problem. And I fight for profits and this and that and try to create relationships, but they're always in terms of self-knowledge, which is moksha. And I'm dharmic about it. So I get friends and influence people, no problem. But it's in terms of dharma for the sake of moksha. I serve. Is the idea? Not just for the sake of myself, but sake of others. Why? Because if I do like that, my satisfaction rises to a higher level, therefore my mind is available for self-knowledge. So self-knowledge now becomes a what? The premise from which I function.
The basis.
The basis from which I function. Now, is it easy? No. You see, I've done this for about 5 minutes now. You know what? I'm getting a cramp. You know what I'm talking about? You know what is easier? This is easier. And my mind wants to revert back to the same easy. And I said, no, come on. You see the idea? Now, for me to grow, to be able to do this, is a growth actually. To be able to grow through this particular position, even though it's uncomfortable. To grow meaning to be able to honestly, sincerely understand what this is and live according to that. It requires what? Some thinking. My mind might be uncomfortable, but I'm not uncomfortable because I am living life now instead of being lived by life. It's a big difference. Here, I'm being lived by life. Life determines how I feel. Here, I determine how I live, and I determine how I feel. I am an independent individual. You see, it's freedom. It's called mastery. That's why at the beginning here, Swamiji says, the teacher says, in that which is night for all beings, the one is wise who has mastery over himself. He doesn't live like this, has mastery of himself. Then, for that person, then that is awake. For what others night. This is night for them. So what are you talking about? But he has no problem. For that is day. And that which are beings are awake. This is what they are awake. Understand that? Artha Kama Dharma. It says, it's night for the wise one. It says, it's silly. You're going down the cliff. See the idea now? How do you take this verse into the context? But in order to do that, the person needs to have at least desire to grow. At least aim to grow. And you know what? Once you aim, somehow you get help. Just think of an enterprise and decide, this is what I want to do. I don't know how I want to do it. It's difficult, heck, and I'm going to go for that. And you know what? Somehow help comes. Somehow. And if it doesn't, you do it yourself, no problem, but somehow help comes from the inside. But for any enterprise, if there is no commitment, and the commitment is lukewarm, then it won't happen.
This is all boils down to attitude.
That's right. So, but there has to be an ideal. This is the ideal. And to understand this, to discern it, it requires, something has to happen in your life to allow you to be able to recognize that there's such a possibility. I never knew it. And even I speak of it, my life, I need to make sure that my life goes in that direction. And not to forget it. Until until it becomes second nature to me. And my mind doesn't control me. I direct my mind. And you know what? My mind might love me for it at the end. Because if I go like this, I'm going to rot. Forget about hell right here. I create my own hell. In sense of what? In terms of boredom, in terms of impotence, in terms of all this stuff. There's so many things that one can get involved in. But this is the biggest involvement, and the rest of it follows suit. When you do that, the rest of it follows suit. And even though you might say, my God, I don't deserve this, and then somehow it's happening. I told you many years ago, and I've been telling you all these years, I have no business being here in the chair. I don't know, it's happening somehow. You see the idea? So this is so important. That's why I wanted to bring about that there is a methodology, there's a logic to this whole thing. Even meditation, even though it's considered by many, is the practice. if there is no, if not moksha is not understood properly, is the energy is put, and the only place we will know where is here. And even if we take something esoteric like God and all that stuff, you know, or the motions of the universe, whatever it is, you know, which is esoteric, you know, which things I don't know, you know, the vibrations and all this stuff, still is manipulation of the world at the gross level, at the emotional level, or at a very subtle level. You know, I am moving energies and all this stuff, you know, and it's great, no problem. But what else can you do if self-knowledge is not there? An inkling of it, I mean, let's suppose the person talks about self-knowledge, but self-knowledge, you know, which self? And then we go to the self, and the self that we always talk about, when we don't know this, is just the only self we know. Now, we might know this physical self, we might know this biological self or physiological self, we might know this emotional self, we might know this mental self. You know, we know all these things and we try to improve those. It's okay. And meditation will actually help all that stuff. But it still is within the realms of what? Two.
Yeah.
And so is that wrong? No, that's wrong. Get yourself together, no problem. But come on. Seek Govinda. He said, but I am a sadhu. I live a life of a sadhu. I live in Shankara. I said, look, sadhu, here you are, you have nothing on, completely naked, at the level of nature, just like that. You have these powers, but still, there you are, we're still, you know, pursued by desires. With desires means I feel I want. I'm not good enough. Is there. I know a sadhu that's really better than I am. Or I am better than the other ones. And why do I want to say I'm better than the other ones? Because I'm not good enough. And in order for me to feel good, I'm looking for somebody that's not that good so I can feel good. This is a sadhu, the practice of meditation and all this stuff. You know, or the priest that knows the scriptures back and forth, you know. Or the person that has retinue has all these people following him because he's famous. Or the person, a family man, you know, he also. I said, what for? Come on, seek the truth, seek the truth. Oh, fool. He calls him fool, doesn't he?
Hmm?
Fool is nice, stupid. That's, so what, if the person, you know, then has this premise of self-knowledge, proper, and understands it, and aims at that, then it directs her life in a different way. Moksha becomes the standard. Everything is filtered to that. This is the bottom line. The bottom line of your life is addressed. And not, the bottom line is not because the scripture says so, because the guru says so, because the institution says so. You recognize it to be your bottom line. And then what is the difference between your bottom line and mine? There's no difference at all. He said, well, this is old, ancient, you know, 4,000 or 5,000 years old. He says, wait a minute. You talk 10,000 years from now, as if there's human beings that are self-conscious, there will be exactly the same bottom line. It could be in English, Chinese, or whatever new language comes out. It will be the same bottom line. Is that true? Mm-hmm. It is going to be. What does the person want? Wants to be free from want. And how can you become free from want? There's no way to become free from want. And Arjuna knew that. Want is sorrow. And not that there is something wrong with wanting, but to take yourself as a wanting being, that's the problem. Wanting meaning lacking, inadequate. So it's impossible to get rid of sense of, of want. It's impossible. But then once you recognize who you are, in fact, in reality, then all want goes away. No problem, my God. That's what the Vedanta addresses. And I'm not criticizing the practices. Let me tell you, practices are good. I was invited to participate in a Buddhist thing in which they repeat this mantra. They had this organization, and the guy is a great guy, the founder and all that. somebody to take your head off. The guy has done all kinds of things. He even got killed because of his ideal. Japanese guy. They killed him in the Second World War because he wouldn't go along with that stuff. And he developed this particular mantra, this particular way of worshiping, Buddhist, and it brings a lot of help to the people that practice it. Good. But it's always in the realm of what? The sound, the music, rituals, it's okay. And it brings about a particular condition, and you do the mantra all the time, that something happens. And it is good. But then, death is still there, coming. It's right there. Any minute. Just around the corner. I said, so what? Well, a concept might be there that I'm immortal. But give me one more day. Give me one more day. And I'm not making fun of it. It's just something that... Now, those are good preparatories. Now, give me a chance. Give me a chance to the tradition to be able to unfold the flaw of the pursuit, whether it be material or religious. The flaw is a F-L-A-W, not flow. Not F-L-O-W, but F-L-A-W, the flaw. If the person is willing to listen, I said, keep on the practice, no problem. But then, look, make sure that recognize where it's going. It ain't going nowhere. Excuse me the English. It ain't going nowhere, ultimately. It will create some changes, yes. It will have some effects, yes. And there will be positive effects, yes. But they will be within the relative realm. That's the thing. But keep the practice. Why should I keep the practice? Because it helps you to be able to chasten and to bring about the, I use the word again, leisure. Leisure? The leisure of the heart. And now, what are you going to do with the leisure? Now, maybe you can use it to address what you ultimately want. Because without that leisure is power. And it can go that way, or it can go this way. It can go like this, it can go like this, or it can go like that. Expansive. Down. Or up. But I don't see up. And what I consider up, it's actually this way. I didn't know it was this way. I thought that up was this way. I'm going up in terms of, but it's all expansive. It's all like this. Self-knowledge. Remember when you start bringing the two things together and you align yourself? Even the practices of karate and all those, that are good. People achieve a whole lot of stuff. It's amazing. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's amazing what a practice does. To take a bottle, those bottles of wine are very thick in the walls and very thick in the bottom. Put water in it and then take your hand and break the bottom. It completely contradicts the laws of physics. Amazing when you harness the chi, or the ki, whatever you call it. You get in line with that. But where does it go? It's all within the realms of duality. You say, yeah, but you can't do it yourself. Of course I cannot do that. But I could apply myself maybe if I haven't had an inclination. It's amazing what people can learn about this stuff and talk about it. We can actually talk about it. It's amazing what you can pick up. It just becomes like doing this with a bottle. Or being good at a ritual. But it's worthless. Because it's within the realms of duality. And then, if I can turn that around and do it for the sake of moksha, pray that I do. I pray that I do. As a person. Because it's very easy to just, again, do it one more expansive thing. Which is very impressive. That's so impressive, I'll tell you. You know, to get these big chunks of wood, you know, or concrete, and oh my God. And they make millions out of it. I know this fellow that was so strong, he used to get his tongue in his lips and his, you know, he put these metal things here in his body and get himself, you know, chained, and then with his tongue and everything, he had pulled trucks. He was a yogi. I think I told you about it. I mean, it's a great achievement. My God, he was in the papers everywhere. You know, magazines, Life, and all that stuff. I saw the clippings. And then this friend of mine that was with me, you know, we were interviewing the fellow. We met him in Los Angeles. And he was showing us this and showing us that. And he had a little shop over there where he taught yoga and all that. And then this guy asked him a very simple question. Are you happy? And the tears started coming out. Tears started coming out. And sobbing. He said, I wish you hadn't asked that. Misery, my God. See, and this is an amazing feat human being can achieve. That's why Abhajya Govinda is so important, because he just puts a finger. He said, what do you do? What does it serve you to gain that? You cannot conquer death. And conquer death doesn't mean that you live for 1,000 years. It means to what? To recognize that there's nothing wrong, that you're not gone. It has always been there. You were never born. And not just as a concept, but to assimilate it, to know it. Now that's something. So all practices, you know, adhyasa, all this, you know, it's called abhyasa yoga. All these practices will create an effect, meditation and everything else. But then, if this knowledge is not there, it's like walking on a treadmill. It has some effect. Heart becomes strong and all that, but you ain't going nowhere. That's it. Does not bring in groceries from the store. You're just walking. That's the point, okay? So, Swamiji here now brings the next important point. Time goes by. We have another 15 minutes.
Yeah. Read one more paragraph.
Okay,
Start at least.
we saw that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why should I perform karma? Go ahead. Please. Anyone? Ravi.
No, I think you wanted to. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I volunteer.
Yeah.
Why should I perform karma? The question may be, the question may then be asked, why did the Shruti not say this in the beginning? If it had done so, I need not have done all this karma. I did the morning and evening prayers because the Veda said to do them, and I had faith in the Veda. Now I find that these karmas have become a colossal risk because at the end of it all, the Veda tells me that I am Brahman and that karma is of no use. If karma will not give me moksha, why did it not say in the beginning? The reason the Veda does not tell you right in the beginning that you are Brahman is because you have to be ready for this knowledge. By performing karma, you are able to eventually get to the last chapter of the Veda and understand what it says. By not performing karma, you will be neither a jnani nor a devout person. You will only be driftwood with no moorings whatsoever. The rule is that those who are not ready for the knowledge should not be disturbed with it. We will see this later in the Gita. People are encouraged to perform karma.
No, instead,
people are encouraged to perform karma in order to prepare their minds for the knowledge. They are told about Swarga, heaven, in the beginning, so that they will perform the enjoined rituals for gaining Swarga. In this way, they will definitely avoid papa and punya will follow.